Today, I'm going to show you how to make music, like Hannah wants. Here's the preview of the track that we are going to make. First, you've got this kick, pretty basic kick. We've then got the clap loop. Next, we've got the tops. And then the ride. So altogether, it sounds like this. For the kick, I've done is taken the original kick. It's quite soft, and I've taken out the top end and the low end. For the tops, so that's the clap and the hat, I've added some reverb. It helps to build towards drop, because there's no big snare drum or anything like that, because this is the sort of selected style that's quite a laid back and, like, vibey. So all it is an auto filter, starting off low, then building up. So letting in more high frequencies as it continues, and then I've also washed it out with a reverb to give it more space and air. We then move on to this atmosphere. So this goes throughout the whole track. So the notes we're using are D sharp and F sharp. The track is in B minor, so this is sort of a fifth and a seventh up from that. So it helps build tension and also just give the nice space to the track. All I've done is clicked Initiate Preset, selected this waveform, turned up the Unison 7, detuned it a little bit, and put this filter on it. Otherwise, it's a bit harsh. You could also have that moving. So if you put this macro, and then you could have it automated. So it's opening up and closing up, just so it adds a little bit of character. And I've got this LFO on the ASYM+. So on here, click ASYM+, and then drag this onto it. That's making the wavetable move. And then, below the atmosphere, we've got this piano. It's a really soft piano. So we're in the key of B minor. So all it is, a third and a fifth, and then down to the G sharp. It's really basic. You can just copy those notes, and it's got this last notes, which is obviously elongated or legato. For the sound, we've got this grand piano. I've then turned the brightness up, turned the hardness all the way down, put some reverb on it, and get everything else sort the same. You could even go as far as changing some of the velocities and almost adding a bit of a swing to it. Then it just helps to humanize it a bit. So if you listen to that. We then got this pad. So I made this with the Korg M1, selected this preset. So click Load, go to Search. There's a few vocal airy presets in the vocal/airy section, and I just went for the ooh, ah. Then I changed the attack, so I had a slower attack. And then I added this EQ and took out all the low end and then drowned it completely in a reverb. Just so it's more spacey and airy, because then probably add this EQ after as well. Just making sure to cut out all the low frequencies that the EQ is creating. Then got the second pad, which is in the drop. This second pad and the first pad has an extra note in it, the 7th ARP, which is also just this D sharp, which carries on the whole way through. To make this pad, all it is basic shapes. So normally, it looks like this, and then I've chosen this one. Again, detuned it, just like the atmosphere. And the amp envelope sort of goes down a little bit. The reason for the pad in the drop is just because it helps keep the atmosphere alive. For the vocal, I've got it from the original, and just added a little bit of reverb on there. Then I've got to add the kickstart for sidechain. Now for the bass. Bass is a little bit different to what we normally do. The reason for this is that it's sort of a chorded bass. You can see instead of one set of notes, there is two. We can follow the same progression as the chords. So from B down to G sharp, down to D sharp. But then we stacked it. So stacked it a fifth above. So it sounds almost like a stab. So let's open Serum. I've chose this BS2 Savvy Saw because of its quite wide sound, because it's got so many different alterations in the waveform. So here's what it sounds like. Then with the JNO. Then we got this sub. I chose the sine wave because it's quite clean for the sub. In terms of the envelope, we've got this amp on envelope. So the amp is basically the volume. So envelope 1, although it's a little bit confusing on Serum, is that AMP, or amplitude envelope, means that's the volume of the sound. So it's going to go start loud, as you can see, then drop its way down, and then get quieter. Then for envelope 2, which is being used to open the filter. So you just drag and drop that over there. Filter cutoff around 38. We then got this marimba, just a simple marimba. I just searched in Collision, take out the low end, added this little OTT. Without it, it's not very quiet. Then I added this reverb. Now we got this pluck. It follows the same sort of notes as the chord. It's a pretty basic ARP. I chose this Juno waveform, and then, like how you'd make any ARP, you'd also get envelope 1, drag it onto the filter, and then you turn down amplitude envelope. And what makes it a nice is adding a bit of a white noise. So go to Noise, and put it on Notes mode. And for the effects, I added a bit of reverb, and a bit of delay. Add kickstart and sidechain with the kick. And then a big one for this, which really helped the drop, would be this white noise. I sidechained it quite heavily with the kick, and also this other noise building up. Here's the result. I hope you learned a lot from this video. See you next week for another banger. Cheers.